Hey folks, Rob here, trying out a new camera. Got a little action camera, thought I'd try it out for filmmaking, see how it works. What we got here on our table is this is an old gun. This is a Jimenez Arms, made in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is, back in the day, these were cheap and sold in every gun shop. This is the ja25, it's a 25 automatic version of this little gun. I picked this up from a co-worker quite a while back. It's in rough shape. He said it did not fire. You could not fire a magazine through it. Said it was very unreliable. It had broken grips on it, so I ordered a set off eBay and put the original grips back on. But we're going to disassemble this because this thing is in desperate need of some service, and that's exactly, I think, the whole reason that it won't fire is because it was never taken any care of. So we're going to disassemble it. Now this gun is unloaded. Little backstory on this: like I said, I bought this off one of my co-workers for I think I give $35 for the gun is what I paid him, and if I ain't mistaken, I paid $50 for a box of ammunition. So the box of ammunition I bought to shoot through this gun cost more than the gun itself, and he said it was very unreliable. I think part of that is the magazine, because the magazine, you can see there, you push down on the magazine and the follower actually wants to stay down. The magazine does not work. So we're going to take that apart, we're going to clean it, we're going to disassemble the whole gun, clean it. So to disassemble these, of course it is unloaded, we're going to decock it, and on the back you have this little, you push in here on this. Let me find something to push in with. You would think all the stuff I have laying here, I would have something readily available. So you kind of push this in, and then you have to lift up and kind of come back, and you want to make sure that doesn't fly away on you, because that does have a spring. So inside here is your striker spring, your striker, this is your cap, your striker cap, and then inside you have your striker or firing pin, whatever you want to call it. This one actually has some gunk built up on it there. Little gun is in rough shape. Then on your frame itself you have your recoil spring here, and then the body of the gun. I'm going to take all this apart because we're going to give it a good, deep, thorough cleaning. Now that is not the right bit for that, to take that off. So let me find us a screwdriver bit here. So I found this one here, but I have a regular gunsmithing screwdriver set. So we're going to remove this grip panel. And YouTube, I am not modifying this firearm in any way. I'm taking this firearm apart for maintenance because it has become unreliable and honestly unsafe, because it doesn't function as it should. And if I ain't mistaken, you got to be careful. I think you can lose your safety here as well. Let me take this the other side off first, because if I ain't mistaken, that grip panel on that side holds down something, part of your safety. It has been cold here today in Kentucky. A lot of storm activity going on. So there's your disconnector, or your trigger bar. That is your trigger bar that rides on that, and let's be careful, because I think that can fly off. I think that's the part I'm thinking of. If you pull the trigger, that's going to fly off. And let's remove this side carefully, because I don't want to have anything pop off and lose it. So there is our safety selector, and yeah, and there is a little spring right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there is a little spring. It fits in the frame. You got to be careful of. I'm just actually going to push our safety up and just set it out of the way. That is a plastic part. I might even take our spring out of here, just so we don't lose it, because we're going to clean this thoroughly. Look how dirty that is. I don't think we want to go any further, although I could probably take the disconnector out, or the trigger bar, and we could take the striker and the striker spring. And is there anything below that? No. So that's as far as we're going. So I want you, that gun is in bad shape. It definitely needs a thorough cleaning and re-lubing. And then we're also going to disassemble our magazine, and in order to do that, I'm going to push this follower down, and then I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm going to stick through one of these holes down here and capture the spring. Now what that'll do is, should let my follower come back up. There's in our follower. There it is. So here's our follower. So there's our follower and our magazine spring. So there are all of our parts. Let's put our magazine over here. That was a booger to get apart. So what I'm going to use is Shooter's Choice sent us over some products to try. So we're going to use some of this Shooter's Choice, and I'm going to shoot this with some quick scrub to get some of this dirt and residue and stuff off this little gun. Got us some Q-tips here. So we're going to take us some Shooter's Choice. I'm going to start here with the frame, and we're just going to try to blast that, all that grit and grime, and try to coat that thing good. Now I also have my little toothbrush here that I'm going to get in there, work that quick scrub in. Man, that just dissolves that all that old, man, that's a miracle how quickly that dissolves all that old residue and dries up fairly quick, evaporates. Okay, let's take our little Otis Smart Gun Care cloth here, wipe all that off. That already looks 100% better right there. So, alright, I want to clean out, I want to make sure this mag well is good and clean. So I'm going to shoot some down through there, take a couple Q-tips, and I'm just going to make sure we're good and clean in our mag well. Get all the residue and grime. See, that's what's in it. Alright. so there's our frame. I'll wipe it down again. We're just going to lay it aside for a minute. Okay, now for our barrel, we got some of this MC7 bore cleaner, and I'm just gonna put me a little bit of that on a Q-tip and go down this barrel a time or two just using a Q-tip, just to get some of this solvent down in there and kind of break up any. I'd say this gun has just been neglected. I doubt it's been shot an extreme amount, especially at the price of ammunition for 25 ACP these days. Look, well, it's pretty dirty. Yes, it's pretty dirty down in there. Am I even in camera? I've been meaning to do this ever since I got the gun, because it is, I've loaded it up a time or two with some ammunition just to, and the bullets would stick, they wouldn't function in the magazine. Yeah, it's this gun, well, my coworker told me, said it didn't function. So we're going to try and make it function. Then we'll try to shoot some of them expensive rounds that would $1 a shot for 25 ACP. Of course, I bought them local. I know you can order them online, probably cheaper. So, alright, we got our frame cleaned up there. I'm just going to lay it aside. Now let's work a little bit on our slide here. Same thing here. I'm going to take me a Q-tip. Actually, I want to spray this down first. Flush out that, and then we're going to take this and clean out our striker channel, or firing pin channel, whatever you want to call it. Clean off our breech face. Take our little toothbrush and get in here. Clean this up as best we can. Make this gun hopefully, you know, safe and reliable enough to actually fire. So we brush that a little bit. Let's spray it again. Just rinse off any of this. I've never used this stuff before, but this stuff is awesome. I mean, it takes all the grit and grime and dirt, everything that is built up on that, takes it off. I hope I'm staying in frame. Alright. While we got this here, let's just work on, let's clean this. Clean our striker off. Dry it off here. There we go. I don't know if you can see it. We got that cleaned up. Now that goes in just like that. Now we have our striker spring and our striker tube. Clean that off a little bit, and that'll be ready to go back in when we get ready to reassemble. Alright, so let's go ahead and reassemble our frame. Well, let's clean these parts. spraying them here on there. So, spraying down these little parts. A little spring. Alright, so this goes in our gun, and the little slope goes forward. But before we put that in there, I'm going to take that spring bracket back out, and I'm going to hit that with a little bit of this Otis dry lube, just to give it a little bit of lube. Same for that. I'm going to hit it with a little dry lube. We're going to drop our spring back in. Drop our little disconnector in. Or not our disconnector, but our, I guess this actually be our sear, because that's what the holds the striker back. So there we have that set in there. Now let's reinstall our little trigger bar. Now that has to go down and capture just like that. So there, that is reassembled. I'm going to hit it with a little bit more of this dry lube. Go hit our trigger bar. Just want a little bit of lube on that. Okay, so now we'll flip her over, and on our opposite side we'll reinstall our little spring here. Goes in just like that. Reinstall our safety. There we go. Now with that on, I'm going to reinstall our grip on this side. So set that back over there. Reinstall this grip. Alright, so that side's back together. Let's flip her over here and take our other side grip. And there we go. It's been a little stubborn there for a minute. So there is our grip frame back together. So that's reassembled. Now let's we got this done. That's done. Let's work on our slide assembly here, or our magazine. So let's take our magazine body and let's clean it out good with this scrubber. For this, I'm going to put on the little nozzle so I can get down in there and get any. If I can get it on there. My hands are cold. It's cold out here. I'm gonna have to get there we go. So I want to scrub this out really well, because I think this is a big part of our issue right here. Is why we're not running. Look at all did you see the stuff coming out of that? Look at that nastiness. So let's get us some Q-tips. Go up in there and clean this thing out. Clean out this magazine body. Yeah, that is what's in there. You know, when a gun doesn't, semi-automatic doesn't function, a lot of times it's the magazine causing the issue. Now I don't know if this magazine can even be saved. So there we go. Let's got that. We've cleaned her out. Now I'm gonna note you're not supposed to lube a magazine, but I am gonna put a little bit of dry lube down this, just a little bit. I'm gonna put just a tad of dry lube. Now our follower kind of just sits up in here like that. So let's get our magazine started back in there, and let's clean this piece up good. I want to hit it with some, get anything off it. And here's a little trick you can do sometimes if your magazine springs are getting weak. You know, this is just a last resort. You know, you can actually pull it out just a little bit, get a little more. It's not going to last. I mean, it's kind of a temporary fix. But sometimes that'll get you back up and running. So now, to get this back in, so we're going to have to tip it forward and then back and work this thing back in there because it's tight. See, we're wanting to go over we're going in crooked there. So I started crooked. That's not good. I don't want to deform my follower. There we go. So now let's get her in there and push down. Now, she still seems kind of tippy. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to push her down. Of course, it's going to have, when it has ammo in it, it might be different. I'm going to push her down. I'm going to catch her right there. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more of this dry lube in here. And then we're going to release that spring tension. And we're going to work it up and down a few times. There we go. Seems better. She's coming back now, so I'll clean a little bit of that dry lube off. Alright, so we've cleaned our magazine, we've cleaned our frame, our barrel, so now let's reassemble. So let me wipe this off a little bit. Got gun scrubber on it. So I'm going to use a little bit of this to reassemble. We're going to use our Otis, and this was sent, or Shooter's Choice. This was sent over to us by Shooter's Choice, or Otis. Otis and makes Shooter's Choice, so good stuff. And we're going to put a little bit of CLP right here on this trigger bar, and we're going to put a little bit right there around that. And we'll put a little bit on our barrel here because our recoil spring will run on that barrel. Reinstall our recoil spring. It kind of works up and down on that barrel, so a little bit of lube won't hurt it. Put a little bit over here. So, alright, to reassemble now. Alright, we take our gun here, we'll have to have this ready, but so we're going to take our slide. We'll keep this out until we get it over our slide. So we're going to take the gun. Let's just leave the recoil spring in. So we're going to take it Get this started here through like that. And this is a little tricky. You gotta get your barrel through there. Now you notice we ain't got our striker or nothing in, so we're gonna kind of drop our striker in. Drop our striker spring and our striker cap here, and then we're gonna push that in. See that little hook on here has to be depressed, and that'll drop down into the frame, and there we are, reassembled. And I know what I done wrong. I should have looked at that better when I took it apart. I don't think that's right. Yeah, maybe it is. Let's try it this way. Rides up over, catches. Maybe it is. We'll try it this way. Something I ain't done right. If it ain't that, then it must be this. If it ain't one thing, it's got to be the other. All right, now maybe. Let's see. Yeah, there she cocked. There we go. I had it in backwards. So I had the first part in right. I just had the firing pin in backwards. Live and learn, guys. Nobody's perfect. I screw up. I ain't cutting it out either because I screwed up. So if you don't watch this video all the way to the end, you'll never know just how bad I screwed up. So there we are now. Actually, not too bad. Anyway, guys, that's a look at the little ja25. We've taken her apart, cleaned her, serviced her, disassembled our magazine, and hopefully she's ready for some test fire. We'll have to load her up with some bullets and see what she does. So anyway, guys, till the next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.